Have you ever looked at a Muslim, calm in chaos, unwavering in hardship, composed in the face of insults, and wondered, how do they do it? What gives them that quiet strength, that unshakable peace? Let me tell you, it's not blind luck. It's not a special personality trait. It's something far more powerful. It's discipline built in secret. It's faith, burning silently through every dark night. It's 5 sacred habits that shape ordinary people into spiritual warriors. Hearts firm like mountains, souls soft like rain. These habits don't just decorate a Muslim's life, they define it. They're the hidden fuel behind a believer's strength, clarity, and calm. And today, we're not just going to list them, we're going to feel them. We're going to break down how they train your heart to rise above every destructive emotion, anger, jealousy, pride, and despair, and how they forge a connection with Allah that nothing can sever. Stick around, because habit number 5 is something most people overlook. Yet it can completely transform how you wake up tomorrow. And if your heart starts stirring during this journey, like this video, subscribe, and walk with us toward the kind of life your soul was always meant for. Habit number 1, mastery over the nafs, ego. The strongest among you is not the one who defeats others in combat, but the one who controls himself when angry. Prophet Muhammad. This is where the real battle lies, not in the gym, not in debates, not in how loud we speak or how many followers we have. The real battlefield is the silent, relentless war within ourselves, against our nafs, our lower self, our ego. We live in a world that worships self-expression. We're told, say what you feel, be raw, be unfiltered, let it all out. But Islam teaches us to be real with Allah first, to filter our hearts through the lens of taqwa, not desire, to pause when the world pushes us to explode. A true Muslim doesn't obey every impulse. We don't give in to the whisper that says, take revenge, clap back, linger on that screen. Just one more look. We don't follow the ego, we lead it. And that takes spiritual strength, real strength. Not the kind you get from weights, but the kind you build through prayer, fasting, patience, and self-accountability. Ever fasted outside of Ramadan? That's not just hunger. That's rebellion against the self. That's your soul saying, I obey Allah, not my appetite. Every time you choose silence over shouting, forgiveness over fury, restraint over reaction, you're not being weak, you're winning. You're training your soul. Mastery over the nafs is mastery over your life. Because if you can rule your desires, your anger, your impulses, there's nothing this world can use to enslave you. And that's what makes a true believer free. Free from ego, free from chaos, free for Allah. Now ask yourself, are you fighting back today or being led? Habit number 2, consistent salah, no matter what. Let's not sugarcoat it. Missing salah is like choosing spiritual suffocation. Salah is not just a ritual. It's not a checkbox we tick when convenient. Salah is the heartbeat of the believer, the oxygen for the soul. It is the first act we'll be judged for on the day of judgment. If our salah is sound, everything else follows. If it's lost, so is everything else. A true Muslim knows that life doesn't revolve around meetings, school, gym sessions, or social plans. It revolves around prayer times. Whether it's Fajr in the silence of dawn or Isha after a long, exhausting day, we bow. Because Salah is not just worship. It is a lifeline. It's how we pour out our struggles before the one who truly understands. It's our daily therapy, our divine check-in, our reset button. You might be too tired, too busy, in a meeting, in traffic. But a true believer finds a way, not an excuse. Even the Prophet, the best of creation, prayed during battle. Yes, in the middle of war. So what's our excuse? You say you love Allah? Then prove it when it's hard. Salah in hardship is like saying, Ya Allah, even when everything is falling apart, you are still my priority. Ask yourself, what is your day built around? The dunya or the divine? A life that revolves around Salah is a life aligned with purpose. It brings barakah into time, peace into chaos, and clarity into confusion. And here's the kicker. When you prioritize salah, Allah prioritizes you. So even if the world spins out of control, your soul remains grounded, because a believer who guards their prayer is guarded by Allah. Are you guarding yours? Habit number 3, deep taqwa, God consciousness in private. Let me ask you something real. Who are you when no one's watching? When the door is closed, the phone is in your hand, and the browser is in private mode. Who shows up? That, right there, is the real test. Because the true measure of faith isn't in how loudly we recite Qur'an in public, or how pious we appear around others. It's in the hidden moments. The choice is made when the only witness is Allah. This is taqwa. Not fear of punishment alone, but a conscious, tender awareness of Allah that penetrates every corner of your heart. It's choosing not to cheat, not to lie, not to cross limits, not because you're afraid of people, but because you love Allah too much to disappoint Him. Taqwa is what keeps you from replying to that flirtatious DM. It's what makes you lower your gaze when your nafs screams not to. It's what makes you return that extra change you weren't supposed to get. Taqwa whispers, even if everyone claps for you, if Allah is displeased amidst failure. And it also whispers, even if no one sees your effort, if Allah is pleased, it's success. In a world obsessed with visibility, taqwa thrives in the unseen. It is the invisible armor of the believer. It shields us not just from sin, but from spiritual rot. It purifies our intentions, guides our actions, and cleanses our hearts from hypocrisy. And here's the truth. Taqwa doesn't limit your life. It elevates it. It's not about fear that cripples. It's about reverence that frees. Because the one who lives knowing Allah sees everything begins to live with clarity, purpose, and sincerity. Now ask yourself, are you more concerned with how you appear, or with how your soul stands before your Lord? Habit number 4, forgiveness and restraint in the face of harm. Let's not pretend. Forgiveness is hard. It doesn't come naturally to the ego. When someone insults you, slanders you, betrays you, your first reaction isn't to forgive. It's to strike back, to prove them wrong, to make them feel what they made you feel. But a true Muslim isn't led by emotion. We are led by principle. Allah calls His beloved servants in the Qur'an, the servants of the Most Merciful are those who walk on the earth with humility, and when the ignorant address them harshly, they respond with peace. That's not weakness. That's strength of the highest level. It takes real power to restrain the tongue when your pride is burning. It takes spiritual courage to say, I forgive you, even when you had every right to retaliate. Forgiveness isn't about approving what happened. It's about refusing to be controlled by it. It's about saying, you hurt me, but I choose peace over poison. I choose Allah over revenge. Because holding on to hatred doesn't punish them. It punishes you. It poisons your heart, disrupts your worship, and blinds your clarity. You were created for higher. Even the Prophet, after being beaten, mocked, and exiled, forgave. After the conquest of Makkah, he had the power to crush his enemies. Instead, he told them, go, for you are free. This is our example. We forgive, not because they always deserve mercy, but because we need Allah's mercy. And how can we beg Allah to forgive our countless sins if we can't forgive a few wounds from others? So next time you're wronged, ask yourself, do I want justice from them or reward from Allah? That decision defines the level of your faith. Habit number 5, living for the Akhirah. Every day, every choice. This is the summit, the defining trait of a true Muslim. We don't live for this world. We live for the next. We walk through this life like travelers, passing through a land that isn't home. We enjoy what is halal, yes. We experience joy, love, and beauty. But deep down, we never get too comfortable, because we know this dunya is not the destination. It's a bridge. The Prophet Muhammad said, be in this world as if you were a stranger or a traveler passing by. A true believer sees through the glitter. The wealth, the status, the likes, the applause, all of it fades. It doesn't impress the heart that's been trained to look toward Jannah. And because we live for the Akhirah, every decision changes. We resist haram not just to be good, but because we want to meet Allah with a clean heart. We give in charity not for praise, but to invest in a future that never dies. We forgive not because it's easy, but because we desperately want Allah's mercy on the day we stand alone before Him. Every act becomes intentional. Every moment becomes meaningful. Every sacrifice becomes a step toward eternal reward. This habit is what fuels all the others. It gives reason to the struggle, meaning to the restraint, and fire to our faith. Because once your heart tastes the sweetness of living for the Akhirah, the dunya stops impressing you. You no longer live for the weekend, or the next purchase, or public approval. You live for the smile of your Lord. You breathe for the moment He says, "Well done, my servant." Now ask yourself, is your life preparing you for the grave, or distracting you from it? Now pause and imagine this. A generation of Muslims who don't flinch when tested, who rise every Fajr with fire in their chest, who forgive even when they bleed, and who walk through this world with their eyes locked on the next. Imagine a world where every Muslim lives not for trends, but for truth. Not for applause, but for Allah. That generation? It's not a fantasy. It can be us, but it starts with one thing: a choice. Today, right now. Which habit will you start mastering this very moment? Will you finally conquer your ego? Will you guard your prayer like it guards your soul? Will you forgive someone who doesn't even deserve it, just to please the one who does? This is the kind of life that transforms. And it's not reserved for saints or scholars. It's for those who decide to try. If something in your heart stirred, don't let it fade. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to join a growing community of believers on a mission to live the Islam that changes lives. Because the struggle is daily, but so is the reward. Let's walk this path together.